Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here with Liz Gale. How's it going?
Good. I'm enjoying life.
Happy 2024.
Yes, I know. This makes me feel another year older. Great.
Well, I'll tell you. Wait, which intro did I use? Go to war or you done messed up? I think, was it go to war?
You done messed up.
Was it you done messed up?
I think so. I was spaced
okay.
out.
Well, I think it's hey, live chat. Which intro did I use? Go to war or done messed up? I think it was go to war. Well, because I was gonna do a little segue. Let's just pretend it was go to war. I'll tell you who's at war.
There we go.
It's TikTok against Scientology.
Oh,
and let me show everyone Liz Gale's TikTok account. If you're, as I like to say, about that TikTok life.
About that TikTok life.
You can find Liz at Liz Gale Gale, and also on YouTube you can find Liz at Liz Gale Gale. And I want to, in just a few minutes here, play the TikTok that you uploaded about Sebastian, the Sea Org recruiter on Hollywood Boulevard. You uploaded that just last night. It's already got like 120 some thousand views. Tell us a little bit. What do you want to say about what's going on over there in the TikTok world? Because it's happening on YouTube as well, but you particularly have some insight into TikTok. What is going on?
Well, it is a beautiful thing that's happening. Human nature story at its finest. Every single night, we tune in to multiple channels and we watch people essentially storming the Hollywood Scientology building. But there's this guy, and this is where I'm like, what? Get the drama out. There's a guy in the Sea Org who has become a heartthrob. Maybe you guys all know Sebastian, but I literally just found out about his story and everything yesterday, 3 days ago. Something like that. And there's something about it that has got TikTok talking in a way that I've never seen before. I thought that history was being made with SPTV, and it was. But this is something different. I can feel it in my bones. We have hit the tipping point. And watching it live is like, I don't know. It's a thrill. As a little girl, I don't know if you ever felt this, but like I wanted people to know what Scientology was. Okay, fine. You didn't feel like a little girl. But as a child, I wanted people to know about Scientology and know, and I never thought they would be storming their buildings essentially. And that's what's happening. I mean, that's how far we have come. There were probably 30 people outside on the live last night, just talking and yelling and trying to convince people. It's getting wild.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, you just reminded me of the first time my kids ever told me that Facebook was for old people, and I didn't believe them.
Yeah.
Now, so if someone were to tell me now YouTube is for old people, I'd be like, that's not true. And I don't believe that it is true, but that's what I told myself about Facebook the first time I heard it. My point here is that even if young people are still on YouTube, young people are really on TikTok. Well, TikTok and Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I know that's true. When it took me a couple days to even figure out how to use TikTok, I was like, there's something, this means something that I can't figure out how to use this thing. That means it's for young people.
It's so easy. But this Free Sebastian hashtag on TikTok has over 48 million views.
Wow.
That is crazy. Because here's the thing that I've known for a long time. Maybe you felt this way too. But to get people to understand the cult mindset, they have to understand it almost through the lens of one person. It has to become personal. You have to be able to think about it in a human perspective, in my opinion. And that's where the compassion and the questions and all these things come up. It's not just like a flashy news story. And so this is a real guy that people care about. I thought it was a parody, but apparently Drake drove by.
Nuh-uh.
Dude, I don't know if I'm believing a TikTok live, but this is how invested I am, I am leaning toward, yes, it was actually Drake who drove by because he knows about the Free Sebastian movement.
Okay, we're going to have to find out if that's true. I know they had a Kanye lookalike come by the other day.
And I
And
thought that the Drake was a lookalike, but then I asked somebody knowledgeable and they said that it was really him. And that blew my, are you kidding me? What is happening?
LA Ken, it was a
No.
Drake lookalike.
I don't know. Was it? I believe
Fake
all the
Drake?
TikTok lies, apparently. Fake Drake. It got me. I'm invested still. I don't even care.
Okay, so I want to talk about Sebastian more, but how about before we talk
I
about
don't
him,
believe
we
it's
actually
fake
just
Drake.
show it's like a 2-minute video
Yeah.
that you uploaded. And let me reshare it in a way where I can share the audio. Let's oops. Okay. Free.
Oh, that got dark quick.
Uh-oh.
I can tell you what happened when my
Hold on. I'm messing it all up. Let me keep us on screen until I find the I'm telling you, TikTok confuses the heck out of me.
There are so many channels too that are doing this. I mean, Jessica Palmadessa, we both know, has over a million, you know, she's made it popular.
The first mugshot.
Not that one.
Oh, that got dark quick.
Okay, there it is.
To the party. I am just now.
Can you hear that?
I can hear it.
Here.
Oh, you can hear it even though you can't see it yet. One thing that I can't have trouble figuring out on TikTok is how to go full screen. I am so embarrassed that I can't figure this shit out.
It's fine.
Okay, here.
You take it.
Let's just do this. Let's just do this. I'm going to
Body router
take
so
us
stands out on the streets in Hollywood,
off.
And he tries to get. Oh, that got dark quick.
Here we go.
I'm embarrassingly
Getting
late
dark
to the
quick.
party. I am just now
Yeah.
getting the backstory.
120 whatever views overnight because the people love the story.
Trafficking go down.
120,000 views overnight is what you said, right?
Yeah, because people, this story is just, you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
In real time. How about I tell you what I know and then you tell me what I don't know in the comments, because I literally just found this out like 3 minutes ago. So this handsome young man, Sebastian, works for Scientology. He is a body router, so he stands out on the streets in Hollywood, and he tries to get people to come in through the front door to sign up for an introductory course or take their personality test. It's become a bit of a sensation for people to go and film him and talk to him and film outside the Scientology building, you know, and stop people from going in there, people who don't know any better. Well, Sebastian's backstory, he's from Colombia. He's here on a religious visa, which is actually a very common thing that Scientology does. They bring their workers over from other countries. And remember, there's a lot of labor. A lot of the Scientology is not just standing around trying to get people in. It's washing dishes. It's scrubbing toilets. It's, you know, there's a lot of manual labor to be done to upkeep all their properties, build new stuff, etc. Now, Sebastian here's a cutie. So I'm sure that's why he was assigned to Div 6, which is the public part of Scientology where he's standing out, trying to make it look appealing, being friendly, getting people in. So Sebastian was kicked out of his house because of who he loves. He was kicked out of his family. And he came up here on a religious visa.
You're muted, Liz.
Came up here on
Hold on.
a
Okay, seriously, how did you find this out?
It's just the tea on the TikTok. It's just the thing. He was caught. He was caught in bed with. The tea is he allegedly he was caught in bed with his boyfriend and his family. Just keep watching. Well, anyway, I could tell you.
Okay.
Religious visa, specifically to work for Scientology. He's been told that if he leaves Scientology, he actually can't have his visa anymore. So he'll be deported and he will be sent back to Colombia. That's not what he wants. The other thing that's weird is Sebastian has shown up with bruises and marks on his body. He had a bruise mark on his face. And then Jessica also noticed that he had like something on his hand. They've moved him around, tried to hide him. I don't know the status of where he is now. Do you guys know? But you can imagine he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Has help available to him. People have offered to help him for sure. That's the thing where it gets tricky here. I don't know if he believes us out here on the real world that like people are rooting for him. He should not have to slave away to Scientology, and just to have the freedom to live whatever lifestyle he wants to as part of the LGBTQ plus community. You know, he's here on a religious visa. He could be sent back at any point. How stressful is that, right? So you're really at like the
You could probably pause it. And then I kind of go on.
Not to mention.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yes.
That's what I'm like. I feel like we're watching human trafficking play out live.
So, you know, that's how Serge Del Mar got sent to the Sea Org. is his father sent him to the Sea Org to basically ungay him
Yeah. Ugh.
from Mexico, not from Colombia.
Right.
And wow.
I know.
I
Isn't
really
there a lot of
like
layers to that one?
I like this message of free Sebastian.
Okay, but wait. So Jessica just put out a video, I want to say last night or this morning, that is like anti the Free Sebastian movement. And
Okay.
this is where this wonderful debate comes in my opinion, because I'm always asking the question, are cult members redeemable? Are exes redeemable? To what point do we lose our humanity? And so there's two sides to it, right? Like Free Sebastian, but then also he's out there. He's doing it. He's actively getting other people into Scientology.
That's true. But any Scientologist or staff member or Sea Org member who was given that task would have to do that task. And
of course.
I'm
on Free Sebastian. The other thing is TikTok seems to believe in general that Sebastian is a true believer. This is like a set of words that's been thrown around, which I actually talk about in my book a little bit. So I have a different concept of a true believer than, I don't know. I've been around really true believers of Scientology before, and he doesn't strike that to me. He strikes me as like a kid who was vulnerable. And that's how cults and Scientology get you, when you're vulnerable. And now everything he has is Scientology in a country that he probably doesn't even have his passport, right?
That would be debatable this day and age. This day and age, it would be debatable. But let's talk about this for a second. I would say they're all true believers, even if they didn't start out that way. Like if I were to talk about myself, I can think of examples of other people who are in the Sea Org who seem to be much more of a true believer than I was.
Okay.
And yet I was enough of a true believer to stay in the Sea Org for years, knowing that I didn't really want to do it and that I could have easily been doing anything else in life that I wanted to do. I had money, I had credit cards, I had a house, I had a car. I could have left any time that I wanted to leave. And yet I believed enough that I made myself stay, even though no one else had the power to make me stay. And I knew I didn't have to stay, and I stayed anyway. And yet there was still a whole bunch of Scientology I didn't believe in. I barely believed in the concept of a potential trouble source. In essence, I was only doing it because it's the path I was put on as a child, and I decided to get really good at it. But I believed enough to keep me there. I believed in the Prison Planet story. I believed that we were basically unplugging everyone from the Matrix, even though I myself didn't like getting auditing. I believed in the upper unreleased OT levels in the state of full operating Thetan. I also believe that most everyone around me seemed to be relatively incompetent, and Scientology didn't seem to fix that. So the evidence that should have contradicted the things that I was believing was also there. So I guess what I'm saying is someone like Sebastian, if I were to take Serge Del Mar, for example, I think Serge would tell you that when he was there, he was a true believer in a sense, although we could also come up with examples of ways in which he wasn't. So, but what, like, it's not really that black and white though. Where do you come down on it?
Well, there's one thing you, Serge, and I all have in common. We're all out now. So for whatever reason, there was something in us that got us here. And I don't know what that is, because I have seen other people in my own like family, my own genetic makeup, basically, who got the same information I did, had very similar experiences that I did, and they chose to stay in. So I mean, I'm always wondering this, like, what is it? What is it that makes that different? Is it a personality? Is it something that happened in early childhood? Is it a particular fact that we got? So yeah, I don't know. When I think of true believers, it's like they're never going to change. If we were true, we might have been, I guess, during certain periods. I guess I'll give you that. But there's no way we really could have been, because we're here now.
Okay, so in that context, though, whether someone is or is not a true believer is sort of being defined retroactively by whether or not they eventually leave Scientology or not. So right now, Sebastian could look like a true believer who would never leave until the day that he leaves.
Exactly. That's one way to look at it. And if you look at the practicality of what he's facing, I mean, when you lose your family, there's trauma. When you are going to like another country, you are he's completely at the discretion of Scientology. They have so much power over his life. So you have to, what's going to take to break free from that? I don't know. I think that the physicality of it and just the logistics of it are more significant than his beliefs.
There's another aspect of this too.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel a little bad for the Sea Org members at the test center, but not bad enough. Here's what I mean. The Office of Special Affairs is watching every minute of these TikToks, and how these Sea Org members respond on video is something they're going to be held accountable for behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So even if Sebastian is here now, I fully support William's approach and Jessica's approach, and this isn't an argument for changing it. I'm just saying that if Sebastian wanted to leave, he would not be able to express any of that or even hint to it or allude to it while on camera. And these guys are on camera pretty much the whole time they're working at this point. So that's why I think what would be really cool, and that's why I said I like the Free Sebastian message and the Free Sebastian movement, is that yes, we're sort of, I'm saying we collectively are having an awful lot of fun with what's happening outside this test center. What would be really cool is if it was sprinkled with genuine messages that, look, I know this is, probably hard for you being on camera like this. And yes, we're having fun and and yes, we're going to keep you from trying to bring people in here. But truly, when you need to leave, when you want to leave, the entire world is ready to help you do that. Like, as long as they're getting that message.
That is the sentiment.
Yes.
He has been told that both, I think, on and off of camera. He has been offered help, which is why it's so fascinating to me, right? Because on one hand, this young man has Scientology, $1 billion, dollar corporation with all this stuff, power. And then on the other hand, he literally has humans coming up to him and saying, we want to help you, man. Like, when you're ready to go, we're here for you. Like, we love you, Sebastian. We want you to live a happy life. He has gotten monetary offers. He has gotten offers from foundations. So it's all just like a pressure on him from both sides, super intense. And those bruises I mentioned, the general consensus on TikTok is like, oh, maybe he's getting beaten. I didn't think that. I worry about the PTS aspect of it, right? Like, what if he just hit his hand and he got a bruise? He had some marks on his hand and he had some on his face at one point. And to me, I was just like, oh man, they're going to put you through the ringer just every day. And
I mean, I think we can say on the record with certainty, he's not being beaten.
I would assume he's not.
Storm of punishment. I mean,
correct.
We hear stories of Miscavige beating and punching people.
Right.
I have stories from being in the Sea Org of people being smacked, pushed, attempted to be hit. But let's be honest, whenever that happened in the Sea Org, it was kind of a big deal. Like, it wasn't like it was never okay to just beat people. Right. And especially a guy who's on the front lines on Division 6, getting people in.
With millions of people watching him all the time.
Let's just say, even if someone got it in their mind to somehow hit him, they'd probably be like, leave the face alone. Leave the moneymaker alone.
Yeah, for sure. It's the PTS aspect that's like, oh, bud, because if you injure yourself or you get sick or ill or, that there's this whole protocol of PTS handling. And he's got to be under a lot of pressure, because if you're trying to understand, if that handling ends with who is suppressing you. And of course, it's these people outside.
Right.
And round and round they go.
I try to watch as much as I can on Jessica and William's channel, but from the things that I hear, I can tell I'm missing so much. I hear people like sending them food, sending them, Uber eating them deliveries of things. And I wonder if the viewers could also like send Sebastian stuff, like a new pair of shoes, some non-Sea Org clothes for when he's ready to escape. I don't know. It would just be so funny to me. Because, okay, the criticism that would be levied by some former Scientologists against the approach of William and Jessica is that it's going to make people like Twilla, like Lurch, like Toucan, like R2-D2, like Sebastian, hunker down more in their beliefs and make them less likely to leave. My response to that criticism would be, it's not their job to convince those Sea Org members to leave. That's not the purpose or the value of what's happening here. And yet, I think I lost my train of thought there. And yet, if people were at least almost as a sense of trolling, but not totally trolling, sending Sebastian like gifts that are actually nice and good and valuable and appreciated, that would kind of counteract anything that's going on in Sebastian's mind that might be like, oh, these people hate us. The world hates us. The world hates me. The world hates Scientology.
Yes, exactly. But let me tell you one little thing that happened last night. Sebastian was giving out autographs. Okay, this is where we've come to. There were like 40.
No way.
Yes, this mofo is giving out autographs now. He is
Oh my God.
He's a heartthrob. He's a sensation. I don't know. He has also been seen having some like kind of intimate moments with like holding hands with a couple of men. And I think there are genuinely people coming up to him and saying to him like, hey man, it's okay out here. It gets better. Like you don't have to stay in this Scientology to live your life and to stay in the country. I mean, people were commenting, I'll marry him. I'll marry him tomorrow on my, give him a visa.
Anon says, and he was taking photos with people.
Yes.
Okay, guys, anyone who's interacting with Sebastian, there's something else that you could really tell him. If he's worried about being deported or if he's already overstayed his visa, honestly, almost anyone can take Sebastian to the local FBI office and make an official, I don't know what the right language is, but a complaint, a report that he was brought here under essentially false religious pretense and put in a situation where he had no choice but to overstay his visa. And he would essentially be able to request a version of asylum. He doesn't have to rely on Scientology for his ability to stay in the country. And even if he doesn't have his passport, he doesn't even need his passport.
Right.
And here's the cool thing. Anytime Sebastian is like, okay, today's the day I want to leave, all he has to do is walk up to William or Jessica or anyone else and says, okay, I want to go with you. Let's go now.
Yes.
And that's all it would take. That's all it would take. And Scientology wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
No. And that's the thing that I wonder, I think maybe he's starting to realize a little bit is, and Jessica was kind of yelling at him last night, like, don't lie to us because your fans are going to turn on you. He's at this pinnacle right now. And whatever he does, he could walk out of there, start a TikTok and a YouTube and be set. I mean, it'd be hard and weird for him, but he'd be good. We'd all be like, what's Sebastian doing today? Who's he? What's going on? Show me your first date, Sebastian. Where are you living? Like, what's up? But here's the problem. And I don't want to say too much, to be honest with you, because I know Osa's watching this and I don't want to give him any ideas. But there's also a way that this pendulum could go the other way. And so I feel like there is, like, I'm riveted. I'm on the edge of my seat here. Because there's never been anything like this before. First, Scientology had to deal with SPTV, and they did behave a little differently. They did pull a couple curveballs that were not written in 1950s policy. So there's a little bit of evolution there. So we'll see. Usually they're dumb dummies. So that'll be fun to watch.
Well, in the same way that it took an old guy like me several days to figure out how to even use TikTok, there's no way Scientology is going to be able to come up with an effective strategy to battle William Good, Jessica Palmadessa, and the TikTok YouTube army. Their old playbook of basically trying to get people arrested on trumped up charges of physical violence or stalking or intimidation, it doesn't work with someone like William, who's already spent years filming the LAPD. I mean, it's a perfect storm.
Did you see their new thing? This is so wild. Apparently they're hiring like local, I don't know. I don't want to be rude, but just like weirdos. And there's this one guy that comes around and he has a dog like that's pretty vicious. And I wish it wasn't a pit bull because I love pit bulls. And this one's given pit bulls a bad name. And it bit somebody on the live. And then the next time he came out, he had like a baton. People, this is like getting real crazy. The cops are called every night.
William said he found out that guy has been being used by Scientology to harass protesters for like 5 years.
Oh my gosh, what a gig. What a life. What a sleazeball. Yeah, I love the way William handles them because it's just, here's the thing. I could never do that. I'm not the person that's going to go out there and be like,
I couldn't either. I couldn't either.
No, it's too close to me too. I just have too much of a physical reaction to that. But this to me is I'm literally speechless and flabbergasted because I never thought that everybody would see what we saw. We spend so much time trying to explain it and trying to explain to people how dangerous Scientology is, and then this crowd comes and it's bonkers. I don't know what's going to happen next, but it is fascinating.
It is. I could never be the one to do what they're doing, but I do want to get out there one of these nights, either a Thursday, Friday, or a Saturday, just to help document and signal boost what they're doing. Not necessarily to do more of it. They're already doing enough of it. But even just to be there to maybe support them in a way, to maybe attract some more eyeballs to their channels in a way. Sure. I mean, by the way, what is William up to, like 135,000 subscribers in 5 weeks?
Something like that.
And some people have said, oh, he already had a channel for years. Yeah, his other channel that he had for years had 35,000 subscribers. Right. Then he starts this channel. In 5 weeks, he's got 135,000 subscribers.
Right. Exactly.
And there's another guy who's been out there with him, Chris, I think his TikTok channel is Chris Without a Hellcat, I think.
Yep, I follow that one.
Did you see what he did at the New Year's event on L. Ron Hubbard Way?
Like how he was interviewing everybody? Is that what you mean?
Asking them about, very politely, asked them about Danny Masterson.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you? And the way he was questioning it was great. He really actually gave him a chance to answer, and everybody just
yes.
But yeah.
Except for the one lady. There was one older lady. And
she got dragged away.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to do a video later about his videos today.
Yeah, you should. You really should. It's wild what is happening over there.
When I saw those videos, I was like, this approach is it. This is what works. It's not just shouting. And by the way, when I said just shouting, I'm not talking about William and Jessica. I'm talking about people of years past.
What you're saying. Yep.
Okay. It's so effective. And no matter how you define effective, and at this point, I'm not even sure I define effective as helping those people wake up and leave Scientology. I think effective is attracting eyeballs and attention to what exactly is going on. Because when people talk about getting the IRS tax exemption revoked, I talk about that a lot. That's only ever going to happen. You know, it takes sort of an act of or a pressure from Congress and the Senate, but those guys don't have any reason to bring any pressure at all until it's just an absolute groundswell of support, real support, organic support, not just an online petition being circulated, but like actual groundswell of support to do something about this organization that's just destroying people.
I just had an idea.
Ooh.
What if we all just pick a date and we all just go to whichever Scientology organization is closest to us? And I mean all, like all you watchers, all the TikTok people, I mean all of us, and just stand outside. All of them at one time. I wonder what would happen. I wonder how many people would actually show up. It'd be a riot.
Would be interesting. Now, the problem is 99% of those orgs, you'd literally have like almost no one there. It would be the most boring thing ever. But it might be interesting to see if we could get 20 or 30 people to show up outside of every single Scientology organization in the world, just as a representation of how much support there is for everything that's going on.
It's a peaceful protest. But I like the coordination, and I like the fact that there's enough people, to be honest with you, there's enough people that want to get those views that they'll go. It's popular.
Yes. I don't think it can be overstated how important it is that these platforms make it possible to actually earn money while doing this activism. Scientology likes to mention money as if it's some sort of a negative thing. The fact that YouTube and TikTok particularly are platforms where you can monetize this effort of activism is hugely important, in my opinion.
Right. Well, it's funny. I mean, if you get down to the nitty gritty, when you're on a live on TikTok, someone is actually paying, not a ton, but paying money to put like a little cowboy hat and a like an animation on top of Sebastian.
I wondered where those things were coming from.
Yeah, that's one of the interactions. I don't know if you've ever seen the robot characters on TikTok, and they're like, a rose, a pizza. I don't know. I look like an idiot, but it's a thing. That's because people are giving them gifts, so they're actually monetarily benefiting.
Oh, I wondered how that worked. So when Chris Without a Hellcat was interviewing one of those older ladies at the event, and all things kept popping up over her face, like a cowboy hat and a knight's helmet.
That's the viewers.
Oh, that wasn't Chris doing it?
No. And it's hilarious
Oh.
too, because there's so many people on lives that are like, stop doing that to me. I'm being serious. And then they like put a clown face on him. It's ridiculous. We're just a bunch of dumb kids.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, so when you mentioned that
Yeah.
you could see a way in which the pendulum swings the other way, what did you mean?
I'm hesitant, Aaron, to give.
Oh, you don't want to say what you mean?
Well, I'm hesitant to give Osa any ideas because
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
this is awful. But there's a world that they can make this work for them. There is. There's a PR
Okay.
world where this could go in their favor. And
Mm.
the momentum of what's happening now, like that old adage of like watching a train wreck, it's because at some point the control is lost and you can't go back, and you know something is coming. And I feel like that's where we're at. They're gonna have to do some sort of reaction, something. Too much energy here. And yeah, I just hope that people start to really ask questions, because once it comes down to a person and their love life and like, you know, their family kicking them out and the drama, I mean, it does become a human interest story and people do get invested. Like that's what TikTok's
Yes.
all about.
Yes, yes. It didn't occur to me to look for a ring on Sebastian's hand. Do we already know? Is he
I do
not
know,
married in
but
the Sea
that's-
Org?
I bet there's a lot more information out there about Sebastian that I do not know. Listen, he's like the first player I've unlocked. There are other players, and I am so excited to learn all about all of them. Truly.
Yes. I don't want to let's be honest. If a young, good-looking Sea Org member like Sebastian is not married, it's because he's gay. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Hey, he might even be gay and be married, because there's certain benefits from just even having a partner. Like
That's true. And Serge Delmar did marry his best friend in the Sea Org so that they could have a private bedroom to hang
that's
out
the
and
thing.
do whatever.
Yeah, you get privacy, you get a little bit of time. Plus, it's
So I
really
guess what I'm
nice
saying
to have
is,
a
if
partner.
he is married, that doesn't mean he's not gay. But if he's not
Correct.
married, that does mean he is gay.
Okay, that's right. I hope one day he can just live however he chooses. And man, this poor guy. Plus, I feel a little bad. We're just out here like gossiping about him. But at the same time, this is it, man. We thought change was going to come in the form of a lawsuit. I, for a while there, thought it was going to be on TV. But no, this is it. It's very exciting.
Social
to me.
media.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned earlier, you said you can feel it. There's a tipping point. What does that mean to you?
It means that sort of on a pendulum of like social opinion, at one point we were really far on maybe like hidden information, everything was secret. Now so many things are out in the open about Scientology, and I think we've gone past a point of no return where we're like really headed into, they are negative, they are over, in my opinion. I think that they cannot hide from this.
Right. Without going into any details about how you thought Scientology might be able to Uno flip card reverse this thing, I have a thought on that.
Okay.
And that is, whenever I have and whenever I will appear on some other big channels and big podcasts and stuff like that, one of the things I say publicly, in the moment, is, why is it that a former Scientologist is the one here giving the description of what Scientologists actually believe? Why is it that you can't get an actual Scientologist, official representative or otherwise? Why is it that you can't get a current Scientologist, public Scientologist, to come on this program and speak about Scientology? And you and I know the answer. They simply aren't allowed to. They simply can't answer the questions. They'd be confronted with confidential information they're not allowed to be exposed to. And I'm mentioning that problem because I think Scientology has to figure out how to deal with that exact same problem when figuring out how they could ever do something about the social media, the YouTube problem, the TikTok problem. Is, as you were saying, there's a way they could flip this. And I don't know if this is what you meant, because you and I haven't spoken about it. I thought for a second, well, what if they put their own people on TikTok? What if they put their own people on YouTube? And I feel like if they did that, and if they allowed those people to honestly just speak openly and honestly, I feel like Scientology might be able to make some progress in the PR game, but they're simply not allowed to. It's not even an option for them. Do you think they would ever stoop so low? I say that in quotes because it would actually be the right thing to do. Stoop so low as to just put honest to God real Scientologists out there to try to be real human beings and speak honestly without having to just stick to talking points.
No, I think that they might modify the way that comes across, because, first they had their they've had these I'm a Scientologist, meet a Scientologist videos, that campaign. Do you remember that? But it felt very forced and rigid. I could see them scheming to try and make it look like somebody was being off the cuff and natural. But that's not their forte. So I think most people would see through it. Depends if they also seek outside representation for consultation in any of these matters, because when you're looking at it outside, it looks very different than when you're looking at it through the lens of L. Ron Hubbard's policy. I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does. I mean, so far the best Scientology's been able to do is Tad Reeves, and
but Sebastian's so much cuter.
But he also doesn't speak excellent English.
That's true. None of those guys do down there. It's really interesting. I think they're all from foreign countries, most of them.
Yeah. And it's funny. Well, I'm going to keep my further thoughts to myself on that. Yeah. Here's what I mean. When I was in Scientology, when I was in the Sea Org, and when I knew Serge Del Mar, Serge is one of those people that to anyone in the normal world, it was super obvious that he was gay the entire time. And to me, I had Scientology blinders on. I had no clue. And part of that is because you're looking at it through the filter of it's not even possible, because Scientology doesn't believe in that and believes that it's bad and wrong and aberrated. And you could never have a Sea Org member, much less someone who's achieved the state of clear. So like and also I was just a young little naive virgin staff member, like most of them, And so I guess what I'm saying there is what you're saying about Sebastian didn't actually occur to me until you just said it. And yet now that I think of everything I've watched from him, like, about his love life. and now that you mention it, I think of everything I've seen of him and I'm like, oh, of course that's true. What was I even thinking? I was still looking at it through the lens of, no, that couldn't be possible. But of course it's possible.
Of course it's possible. But it really adds another dimension to the story as well, because Scientology's stance on anything other than like a normative man-woman relationship is just not cool. So what does that mean? And now that the whole world is finding out that, what is the next move?
Yes, indeed. All right, let's tackle some comments here in Super Chats. Amanda says, have you watched Chris Without a Hellcat's TikTok from Big Blue? There was a woman with a briefcase attached to her wrist. Wonder what OT level she's on. Well, Amanda, we can answer your question. It means she was on anywhere from OT1 to OT3, because those are the solo levels. OT4 is not a solo level, and OT5 is not a solo level.
What about 7?
And can only be done at Flag.
Oh, yeah, you don't take that away. Back in the day, you were able to take those documents away, and then they, like back in the 70s, I want to say, 80s.
Well, but no. So if you can only get on to OT7 at Flag, you can't do it at the Advanced Organization in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
You can then take your materials home and audit yourself at home, but you would never take your OT7 materials into AOLA, because they're not allowed to deal with OT7s.
I see. You're geographically crossing it against the briefcase, knowing exactly that it's one.
That's right. 3. So that woman would have been on OT3 or possibly OT1 and 2. And I was amazed how many non-Scientologists spotted the fact that Scientologist had their e-meter attached to their body. And that's not true for everyone who carries an e-meter. And when it's attached to your body, that means you've got your OT level stuff in there.
Yeah. Which is so wild. I mean, what a thrill. That feeling when you are a Scientologist and you are a true believer and you have that on you. I mean, that right there is probably worth $100,000. That feeling.
Yes.
how they
That
get.
is some ultimate Scientology clout to be seen with that e-meter case attached to
Exactly.
your wrist.
And Mission Impossible, the music is just playing behind you everywhere you go. It's badass.
Oh my goodness. Clearwater Chad. Hi, Aaron and Liz. Great job
Oh.
exposing the truth. Thank you, Clearwater Chad. Dave Owens. People are complicated creatures.
They are.
Yes. Marsha Bentley. I think the Ukrainian guy there is also a good story.
Is
Now,
that
by
Angel?
Ukrainian, no. So at first I thought she meant Lurch, but I don't know what Lurch's nationality is. There's another shorter guy, very white but dark hair, and William found videos of this guy before he was in the Sea Org,
And
living
showed
his
him to
best
him,
life.
right?
And he showed him the
Yeah.
videos,
Mm.
and you could tell something was happening in that
Dennis.
guy's.
That's it, Dennis.
Who's Dennis?
That's his name, I think. Everyone is putting in the chat, Dennis. I think that's maybe who you're talking about. But yeah, he's a handsome fella too. And they're all so young and full of potential.
Yes.
I'm going to go
No,
through all of this. I am retroactively figuring out every one of these characters, their sign, their like color scheme, the whole shebang. I'm going deep. Seriously.
I have never seen a Scientologist as tall as Lurch. I think he's 6'10".
He got taller doing those Scientology services.
Oh my goodness. Eddie Audits. Ooh, check this out. Hey, Aaron, I just uploaded my first YouTube short at L. Ron Hubbard Park in Elizabeth, New Jersey, getting ready to audit Times Square when YouTube allows me. Wish me luck. Fantastic, Eddie Audits. I'm hoping the name of your channel is Eddie Audits. Email me a link to your channel at growingupinscientology@gmail.com, and I'll post it. That's fantastic. Dave Owens, sunshine is clearly the best disinfectant. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to bring this up with you. We both have teenage children, right? Teenage children that are on the end of teenage, like hitting adulthood, getting pretty close. And that makes me realize that I'm old and I'm of a different generation. Like, hey, I just figured this out. And then, of course, I have always recognized, oh, those are the old people. Those are the other generation. But I'm really impressed by some of the aspects of this next generation. This is what they do. They expose things in this shared way that is unstoppable. And it's fearless. It's fearless in a way. It's like they're just doing it so differently. And it's that sunlight is the disinfectant. And there's something, even I'm too scared to do that. I mean, yeah, I'll go out there now that like they're all there. But I wouldn't just go out there on my own. So
honestly, as a former Scientologist, I would be embarrassed to do it, to be perfectly honest. I would feel that I was falling into the exact stereotype they want everyone to think we are. And I would personally be embarrassed to do it. It doesn't mean I think people who do it should be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed.
I get it.
It's why I'm so thrilled other people are doing it.
Yes. But see, that's not our role, in my opinion, right? Like, that's not our role. Our role is to help them later. Right? Like, we're probably the people that after the fact, we're like, I understand what you've been through, can offer that type of support. This is different. And this also to me is representing, like, it's just society's view. It's just a cultural view, a switch that happens where people are just going to get so noisy about it that they're either going to shut it down, or I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know. There's an energy there that we were not totally able to generate.
It's totally true. It's totally true. And further speaking about our role, you know, when I interviewed William on my channel, he said, hey, listen, most of the things I've learned about Scientology, I've learned from your channel.
Right.
And so I think that's another example of our role is to help the people who want to do stuff like this understand more and more and more so that what they're doing can be more and more effective.
For sure. That's what I see my role as, you know, like I'm up here laughing about the tea and this or that, but like human interest stories change minds. They teach empathy. They show exactly a position a person can be in that someone can put themselves in their shoes. And that, in my opinion, is how changes of mind and perception happen. And so if I can be there to scaffold some of that information and be like, oh yeah, this is what's happening, or like, here's another this, translating it as it were, I hope that I can
Yeah.
help in that regard. And to just be like a little bit of a cheerleader too, just so the people out there know that they do have support of someone like me. It's like, my family was in it for 70 years. You guys are doing what I've always been too scared to do. And the little girl that I used to be just wished somebody would do. And they're like half
so
my age and
awesome.
they're just doing it live on TikTok. Who saw this coming? I'm
It's
thrilled.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Melissa Turcotte, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
Melissa.
Year. My mind went AWOL, 2006. Love that it's gone from to make money, start a religion, to want to make money, start an anti-Scientology channel.
Oh my gosh. How poignant is that statement?
Scientology could actually make more money by creating a bunch of anti-Scientology channels and just riding the wave. It's almost like shorting a company's stock on the way down.
Yes.
Scientology should just start making its own anti-Scientology channels.
That's right.
Oh my God, that is too funny.
Controlled opposition.
Let's see. Ginger Mom 45. Aaron, you're awesome. Can we please get some new merch? A shirt that says where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Can that happen? I feel like someone put you up to this. I literally have like 50 new merch items just ready for me to click the button and go live that are every day is a great day not to be in a cult. And what do I know? I grew up in a cult. And it's been ready to hit live for like 3 months now. And I've just been too lazy to do it. So I'll try to do that today, Ginger Mom, and I'll let everybody know. This is awesome. How's your TikTok channel been doing?
Oh, my TikTok's been doing pretty well. Yeah, actually, I'm about to hit 50,000 followers, I think. So that's good. It's good. It's super fun over there. I really just I say it every time, and I bet your YouTube people are like, screw that. We're YouTube all the way. But there's just a different vibe over there where I just feel like I fit in. And so yeah, it's going good.
Well, it's funny. Jessica Palmadessa's TikTok account just got like suspended for a week, which has to be something that Scientology did. I don't have any. Jessica's so careful about her streams. Anytime someone even swears near her, she ends her stream immediately and starts another one because she understands how to
I
stick.
didn't know that. I didn't know she got suspended. What, she get suspended today?
Like yesterday, the day before. That's why she's on YouTube right now doing her live streaming instead of on TikTok.
But she was on TikTok last night live streaming.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I was watching because I just switch around on TikTok from like there's like 8-10 people down there that all are live streaming. I just switch around. And I was watching.
Well,
her.
Jessica normally doesn't live stream on YouTube, and she was live streaming on YouTube outside the center talking about how not only had her account been suspended, but she had already lost her appeal.
Wow.
And that she was going to be suspended for a week. So check it out. That's why yesterday I was. Someone said she got her TikTok. Her TikTok is back. There you go. She's back on TikTok already.
And I don't know if she always does this because, again, guys, like, here's the thing too. I don't have hours every night to sit around and watch this, which is why I'm kind of just getting caught up. And I didn't realize. And I still think that was really Drake. When next time anybody, give me facts. Give me facts, guys. Somebody get a hold of Drake and ask. I know Kanye wasn't real. And this is why I thought the whole thing was a parody. I thought the whole thing was a joke. And then little by little, I was like, wait a minute. These are real people.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think, nope, I can't say it. I got to talk to you off because listen,
we'll talk off.
Be a brat, but I'm way smarter than Osa and they are not getting any of this gold.
Yeah. So for anyone who's wondering what we're talking about, Jessica Palmadessa, and that's Palmadessa, Jessica Palmadessa. She's got about 1 million followers on TikTok. I think she's got about 15 followers on YouTube, but that's because she doesn't do a lot of YouTube. Right. She's doing the live streams outside of the Scientology Test Center, along with William Good, who is known as Streets LA or Scientology Audit. You can find them on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. And, what they do is they stand outside and they, as the SEERG members are handing out their promo for a free personality test and a free film, they're just standing out there being like, don't do it. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's Scientology. It's Scientology. They're lying to you. Don't do it. Don't get, keep your family out of there. And they're basically making it impossible for Scientology to bring in new members at that test center.
They are. And they're yelling it bilingually. They're freaking yelling it in Spanish. Una secta. I love it. It makes me
It's
really,
great.
really happy because it's so bold. It's so ballsy. I'm like, are they really doing it?
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
you can find Liz's channel because I unshared the thing. If I try to share it again right now, it'll be all messed up. So you can find Liz on YouTube at Liz Gale Gale.
That's
Same
me.
thing on TikTok, Liz Gale Gale, and I'll link to your channels in the pinned comment down below, and it's in the description down below as well.
Yeah, hit me up on TikTok. We have crazy times over there. Crazy, crazy.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you as always. Oh, if you're watching right now, hit that like button. Before we're done, hit that like button.
Smash it.
And, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.